Hello friends. In today's lecture, we will study about Marx's theory of alienation and its relevance. This is very important topic. Not only this has been asked again and again by UPSC, but also its contemporary relevance will be extremely useful in dynamic questions of any question related to work and economic life, of any question related to technology and dependency, of any question related to recession, unemployment, anything of the sort, or even suicide. This can be utilized in many such places. Thus, this lecture will equip you to not only understand theory of alienation, but also how you will utilize this in your answer. So first of all, we will try to understand what is alienation. In capitalist system, people work for wages, creating a disconnect between their work and them. So if you are creating anything, the moment you get the wage, you are not owning what will happen to that product, who will use it, how will it be utilized. You have no say in this. So there is a fundamental disconnect between workers and their labor. Secondly, the thing workers produce, whether it is goods or whether it is services, are owned and sold by capitalists or business owners or bourgeois, and not by the workers themselves. And thirdly, workers don't have control over what they produce, how the product is used, leading to a sense of complete detachment. And that is termed as alienation. Now, Marx also gave types of alienation. So he mainly gave four types of alienation. The first was the alienation from the product of labor. Now, workers create products or services, but they don't own them. Once the product is made, it's taken away and sold by the business owners. This means workers are disconnected from the fruits of their own labor. They don't get to decide what happens to what they make. So they are alienated from the product itself. The second type is alienation from the process. Now, often in the organization, people are working at a very micro level. They are not allowed to work end to end in any project, in any organization. And also, they do not have say in how their work is done. They are just given tasks to complete. And they have little control over how these tasks are carried out. This makes works feel like repetitive, meaningless activity rather than something creative, something fulfilling. The third type is alienation from other workers. So instead of working in a camaraderie or working together, capitalist makes worker compete against each other for jobs, for wages, for promotions. This competition creates a sense of isolation and prevents working from forming strong solidarity or connection or a sense of community with each other. And they are most often thrown into an outright competition. The one who will win will be rewarded, the one who will lose will be discarded. Okay. The last type of alienation is from one's own self, from species being. What is species being? The humans were called as having a special power to do any action by utilizing their consciousness. The same very action done by each and every animal, like eating food, is done discretely different way by humans by applying their consciousness. They have made a number of dishes. They have made different ways to eat. They are eating food in a function. So they have the very own functions which are shared by human and animals are performed in such a way by human that they are applying consciousness, and thus it is happening in distinctively human way, and that is species being. And Marx believed that humans are naturally creative beings who find meaning and satisfaction in making things or doing work that express their abilities or interests. However, in a capitalist system, work is often just a way to earn money, not a way to express oneself or to find fulfillment. This leads to a sense of alienation from one's true self or species being. Now, what are the consequences of alienation? The first is they are dehumanized. The workers start to feel that they are just cogs in a machine rather than human beings which have creativity, which have potential. The second is loss of freedom. Because workers depend on wages to survive, they often have to accept jobs and conditions they don't like, which limits their freedom. They have to do it for earning money to sustain themselves. And often they have to accept even jobs which are of long hours, which has very less wages. Then also they have to work. The third thing he told us, it is leading to social inequality. So alienation is contributing to a system where bourgeoisie class or capitalists become richer and richer while workers become poorer and poorer. And they are also becoming powerless. And this can be observed. We will analyze all of these in contemporary relevance. Now, Marx also proposed a solution from it. He said that there should be change in economic system. Marx believed that the way to overcome alienation was to change the economic system to what? To communism. Capitalism cannot solve this. There should be a collective ownership. He argued for a communist society where the means of production, factories, tools, lands are owned collectively by everyone. And there should be a worker control over their labor, allowing them to work in a ways that are fulfilling, creative, and connected to their true nature. Now we will see the contemporary relevance. Now, the first relevance of this is in IT sector or a cubicle work. Often in IT industry, many employees work in cubicles, performing repetitive tasks such as if they are coding in a very small space or very small niche. They are not allowed to work end to end. They owe or they often contribute to a small part of large project and rarely see the final product. And due to cubicle kind of environment, they are not allowed to intermix. There is a long working hour. Now, the work from home is further creating a divide. So there is a lack of solidarity between the employees of IT sector. This can be observed. And thus, this gives power to corporates to deploy certain harsh work environment and harsh conditions. And this also leads to a feeling of isolation and lack of connection to their work. In gig economy also, like share drivers, food delivery personnel, often compete directly with one another. And that's why they ask ratings from you. So if you give them 5 rating, they will be performing better than others. Okay. And this competition creates alienation as workers see each other as rivals rather than collaborators, leading to a sense of disconnection and insecurities. And thirdly, in factories, workers often perform highly specialized tasks like assembling a specific part of a product. This micro level focus means that they don't feel connected to the final product. Also, the technology has enhanced productivity, but it is creating a reserve army of labor. Okay, this was a concept again given by Marx. Due to technology, there is a recession, and this is leading to a several job losses. The advent of artificial intelligence and job loss in the present time is an example of that. The Marx was of the belief that the bourgeoisie class will shrink and the petty bourgeois will further become proletariat. And this process is being fastened by the process of technology advancement. The e-commerce websites are eating a lakhs of small shopkeepers. And also, this can be seen with the advent of artificial intelligence. Now, there is also criticism of Marx theory of alienation. The first criticism is that Marx theory is based partly on a rather vague picture of what man could and ought to be. Perhaps it says more about the values of a particular sociologist than it does about man's essential being. He was told that he is biased while portraying about the theory. Robert Blauner said that Marxian perspectives are very general. They tend to lump together diverse occupations and leisure activities and create a simple model of man in industrial society. So he is simplifying. He is an economic determinist. This is often the criticism of Marx theory. And Goldthorpe, Lockwood, and Blauner has also said that Marx tend to ignore the meanings held by members of society. If people claim fulfillment in work or leisure, there is tendency to dismiss their views as a project of false class consciousness. He's not giving even a small space for the consciousness of human being. Postmodernists also criticize that now this economic system doesn't is not deciding everything. Now the science, symbols are deciding many things. There is fall of meta narratives like consciousness, class consciousness, etc. There is fall of meta narratives like nationalism, and now small micro narratives are becoming relevant. Feminists also often criticize Marx to not give much importance to gender and giving more importance to economic dimension. Also, he has been criticized for ignoring cultural practices and culture altogether and just giving importance to economic system. So this was the lecture. I hope this was helpful for you. Take care. Best wishes.